One of the things I really love about when I'm called up to perform my reserve duty, it invariably I've always run across someone, at least one person who I crossed paths with on active duty, and it's really nice to hear from them, just to see and catch up, and you know, talk about those life moments such as marriage, kids, buying a home, this and that. And it's always so I just really enjoy actually running into those folks who you served with on active duty way back when, and seeing where life has taken them. And so I think another great aspect of the Navy Reserves is it is a very small, tight-knit community, but at the same time you never really lose contact with folks, because there's always AT coming up, and that's when you get to catch up with people who you otherwise maybe would lose contact with. So I guess the personal aspect of it is what I enjoy most, if you will. And I've been in the Navy for 10 years, 4.5 on active duty, and the remainder in the reserves. And my current assignment is the Region Legal Service Office, Hawaii. My job in the civilian world, I'm an assistant U.S. attorney, so I'm a federal prosecutor, dovetails almost exactly with what I do in the Navy Reserves. With the RILSO Hawaii, I do one of three things. I'm a prosecutor in the military. I also assist with command services, and then I also perform legal assistance for service members stationed at Pearl Harbor. So for the majority of my work in the reserves, it is identical to what I do in the civilian world. Before that, I was actually a defense lawyer in the Navy, so it was very interesting. In the civilian world, I've always been a prosecutor, but when I'd come back on to do my reserve duty, I would basically change hats and switch from the prosecuting side to the defense side. So I think both the civilian job and the reserve job really kept me sharp, because I never got too focused on just one side of litigation. And the skills I developed as a prosecutor, I think, helped make me a better defense lawyer for the Marines and the sailors who I defended at their admin boards. And then the skills that I learned as a defense lawyer, I think, made me a better prosecutor, because it allowed me to sort of anticipate what a defense lawyer would do with a particular case. So I think both the civilian job and the Navy Reserve job really helped me become a better lawyer in both aspects. I think that there really is unlimited opportunities in the reserves, particularly if you have a career and want to stay in litigation, because there's the opportunity to prosecute cases, to defend service members, and then should things work out later on in your career, you have the opportunity to become a commanding officer for other younger lawyers, to serve as a judge at both the trial and appellate level. So really, you can participate in every aspect of litigation if you want to remain in the Navy Reserve. So it's a fantastic opportunity that I hope to continue with. In my current job, my client, for lack of a better word, would be the command and the prosecutor's office. And I know that commanding officers very much have to rely on the legal advice that the lawyers, the SJAs, and those in the RILSO provide to them, because it's a very fast-paced environment. Oftentimes these complex decisions need to be made very quickly, and they rely wholeheartedly on the advice that the JAGs provide. So it's a very important role, and I'm glad to just provide that little part of help that I can in the process. I guess my pitch to all those who are thinking about leaving active duty, I would very much encourage you all to consider, at least at the very beginning, going into the reserves. I know it's certainly not for everyone, and life can be very busy at times, but if you still have an interest in serving, the reserves is a great way to do it. And it just, I always like to hang on to that time in uniform. It was a very fun and a very rewarding time in my life, and every time I get to go back into the reserves on an active duty and put on the uniform, it brings me back to how it was then. So I'd encourage everyone, if you can, before you walk away completely from your military experience, to consider going into the reserves.